Thank you, Jasmine, Toastmaster. Welcome, Toastmasters and guests. How many of you think that you have a wonderfully clean house? How many of you think that having a clean house is important?
Yeah.
How many of you think, you know what, it's just sort of fine the way it is? Well, I'm here to tell you that having a clean house is actually not that important. What is important is having a dog. And you're probably going to say, no, I don't really have time for a dog. But when you realize and accept the fact that having a clean house is not that important, you will realize that you do in fact have time for a dog. How many of you think that your health is important? Well, having a dog will help you with your health. There are so many benefits to having a dog. The main one, kind of obvious, is exercise. Dog requires at least one walk a day. So if you get a dog, you're going to find that you're out getting one, maybe two, maybe even three if it's a lucky dog, walks a day. Dogs are also great stress relievers. They provide a lot of comic relief. In the wintertime, they're really great. They'll keep you warm. If you allow your dog to be on the couch with you, they'll snuggle up to you, keep you warm while you watch TV in the evening. If you don't allow them on the couch, they'll keep your feet warm. My personal favorite is letting my dog in bed. He'll warm up my spot before I get in, which is really great. Dogs are also great companions. Maybe if you live alone or if you have a roommate or a spouse that travels a lot, well, now you're not alone. You have a dog. They're a great companion for you. They're also a great conversation starter. You can go on a walk with them, take them to the dog park, and you never know who you'll meet and talk to. They can provide a hobby. So if you want to get into showing your dog, I've had friends that have done weight pulls, agility trials with their dogs. So now you have this built-in hobby that you have this furry friend of yours. And they can even be a source of income. So again, if you get the right dog and they excel in the show ring, now you're going to be bringing in some cash. So you're probably still not convinced about getting a dog, but I want to tell you a story about my childhood. I really, really wanted a dog, and I kept telling my parents, asking my parents, begging for a dog, and they said, no, finally, I was 7 years old, and my dad said, okay, fine, when you turn 14, we'll get you a dog. And of course, that was just the go away, forget about it. But I never forgot. And so year after year, we kept talking about this potential dog that we would get when I turned 14. So about a year before my 14th birthday, we actually had an opportunity to dog sit for 2 dachshunds. And it was so much fun. We loved it. At the end of the week, we sat down as a family and actually agreed, while that was a lot of fun, having a dog is just not going to be right for our family. We would travel, go on vacation. What do you do with a dog when you're going away? So you can imagine my surprise when on my 14th birthday, I opened up a promissory note saying that I would get a dog. And about 4 months later, we found the perfect dog. We adopted him from the Howard County Animal Shelter, and we appropriately named him Promise. And he was great. He was a perfect addition to our family. We never looked back. When we needed to travel, we had found a family in the neighborhood that loved dogs, and so they were able to watch him for us, and it was perfect. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, as dogs do. They don't live forever. But so fast forwarding, my husband and I, we always knew we wanted to get a dog. We both love dogs. And unfortunately, when we lived in our apartment, we weren't allowed to have one. So we knew once we bought our house, that was going to be one of the first things we did once we got settled. And that's exactly what we did. Once we were settled in, we started working with an adoption organization called Lab Rescue. And we looked at some dogs online. We actually went and we met one of them. It wasn't quite right for us. We didn't have the gumption to take on that dog. And a few weeks later, we found our dog. We met him, and his name is Sully. And he's been such a great addition to our family. I mentioned health benefits of a dog before, and with pregnancy, it's good to stay active. And there would be days that I would come home at the end in the evening and not really feel like going for a walk, which I should. But how can you say no to that wagging tail and the eyes that look at you and say, Mom, aren't we going for a walk? So now I'm walking daily with him. And I've been slowing down a little bit, but he still likes to walk pretty fast. So he's gotten me kind of kept up moving and walking more quickly than I probably would without him. He has definitely reduced stress in the home. One of the other benefits of having him around is he doesn't really let us sleep in so much. We're very busy. We have a lot of items on our to-do list, so it's been good. We can't sleep away the weekends anymore. He gets us up, gets us going. He's helped us take breaks. He loves playing fetch in the backyard with the ball. So we're constantly going out, taking a break, getting some fresh air, which has been wonderful as well. I will say I've improved my selfie game as well since adopting him. It's been a lot of fun taking pictures with him. And truly, at the end of the day, he just makes the family feel whole. When you stare into his eyes and he stares back just so lovingly, you kind of melt into him, and you can tell how much he loves us and we love him as much, if not more. So I really encourage you to think about getting a dog, adopting a dog, because they're going to make your life much richer. And yes, you may have some dog hair collecting in the corners. It's fall, he tracks in leaves, there's muddy footprints on the floor. But you know what? Life's about more than having a clean house, and that's what a robotic vacuum is for. That's a speech for another day. Thank you.
Ready? Okay. Yes. Lisa D gave us the speech. Having a clean house is overrated. I got very excited at the beginning, but it took a different turn, which is fine. I still enjoyed the speech. Her project was presenting a persuasive speech, which means that she needs to combine logic as well as emotional appeal to persuade the audience that it is in the best interest of the audience to do whatever she is saying. And I think she did a great job in that. She used questions in the beginning to get the audience engaged, like who thinks it's good to have a clean house? Well, I'll tell you what's better, a dog. And then she asked who thinks, who thinks it's important to be healthy, and then she tied the dog in there too. So she did a great job with the logical part, and she also did a good job with the emotional part by talking about her experience with the dog and how her current dog is making her family feel whole and warm and cozy inside, which all added to the appeal. So I want to commend you on the structure of your speech. You had a very clear opening, body, and conclusion, and it was very easy for people to follow, and I think that added to the impact of the speech. And speaking about the benefits of having a dog and using that to convince the audience, I think the structure of your speech really added to the objective. Also, your hand gestures were well used when talking about having a dog at your foot or having a dog in your bed. So I think you used hand gestures very well, and that also helps to illustrate the elements of your speech and drive home what you're talking about. Some things I can recommend for you is to have more description of the dogs that you own, that you had, maybe what they looked like or what size they were, how cute they were. That would add to the emotional appeal to get people, even more invested in the idea of having a dog. And you could do that with a visual aid, maybe on the screen, or just talking more about their personality, or showing a selfie that you mentioned you got better at. So that would be good. Also, I could recommend, seemed like you stood in place this time. I know usually you kind of move around, but maybe you have an excuse for not moving too much this time. But yeah, moving maybe side to side a little bit might add to the dynamic appeal of the speech. So, but I'd also commend you on your conclusion. You really drove home the point to persuade us all that having a dog is a great idea. And overall, you did a great job with your speech. I think we persuaded maybe one or two people to get a job. And congratulations.